Hello, good morning to you out there, anywhere you are at this time, listening and watching beautiful, outstanding ladies with disabilities TV, Bold TV, brought to you by Bold Heart Initiative. It's another beautiful Saturday, and we are right here to discuss issues as it concerns and affects women and girls with disabilities. Bold TV, we want to thank you for always standing by, for always being there, for your support, your viewership, your listenership, the like, the comment, the share. We want to appreciate you for that. And we want to urge you to keep liking, keep sharing, keep commenting on our videos. And if you would like to support the initiative, reach out to any of the co-hosts, Afyong, Osaki, Abiose, Freki, or myself. Welcome once again to this week's edition of Bold TV. My name is Oluwatomisin Adeyefa, and I'm your host for today. And very quickly, I would give my ladies the honor to introduce themselves. Okay, let me also add that I'm a visually impaired person, a broadcast journalist, a sound engineer, a gender and disability rights advocate, and a sexuality and reproductive health crusader. I've got three amazing ladies. I've got a guest and two other co-hosts on the show today. So,
hello everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bold TV. I'm excited. I'm honored to be here. My name is Treasure Suchebu. I'm a consultant on the UN SDGs, Disability, Youth and Gender-Related Commemoration. I also run a life skill and leadership program for deaf teenagers, and I'm a development practitioner in a nutshell. So I'm excited to be here, and I say we'll learn, we'll share, and we'll grow together. Thank you very much.
Good morning. It's another Saturday morning. Welcome to Bold TV. My name is Afyong Itim. I'm based in Uyo. I'm a medical lab scientist. I use a wheelchair from spinal cord injury, and I'm a member of Bold Hearts Initiative.
Thank you. My name is Freki Andrew Essien. I'm based in Port Harcourt in Rivers State, Executive Director of Faker Foundation, member of Bold Hearts Network, public health professional, use a wheelchair. Thanks for having me. God bless.
ladies, thank you for joining. Thank you for coming on the program today. You are all welcome. So, what are we discussing today? Something that would positively impact and benefit every life of a woman with a disability out there. Also, if you're a girl with a disability, you need to listen up to our topic today. And we are discussing self-assessment for women with disabilities. You know, earlier in the week, it was the new month, and people greeted each other, Happy New Month. People were really happy that, okay, the first half of the year 2022 is over, and we are looking at the second half. A lot of what you call resolutions, a lot of people came up with goals, dreams, aspiration. Some people talk about what they've been able to achieve and what is left to achieve in the second half of the year 2022. People have resolutions, people have a list of achievements they want to reach, a lot of goals, a lot of dreams, and we are fond of talking about it as a people. We just want to be sure that we are on track. And so we've decided to talk about self-assessment. The second half of the year 2022 is here. What have you been able to do with yourself as a woman with a disability, especially in this time when it is after the COVID-19 pandemic, and people are, trying to put themselves back in line so that we all can have a positive result at the end of the day. So that's the focus of our conversation today. And as you earlier heard, I have three amazing women who would be talking to us about it. So let's start with what exactly is self-assessment?
Self-assessment is basically personal evaluation. It's a key step on the journey to self-awareness, getting to know yourself. Self-assessment is, simply put, getting to know yourself, getting to know your strengths. When they ask, who are you? Your strengths, your weaknesses, knowing the things you can and cannot do, the things you should or should not do. It's basically becoming acquainted with yourself, knowing yourself on a deeper level so that, there's no question about who you are. So for me, to simply define it, self-assessment is getting to know yourself and establishing who you really are.
All right, all right. Thank you for that explanation. Afyong says that self-assessment is getting to know yourself deeper than just knowing yourself on the surface. It's getting acquainted with who you really are. And so there is, even when people are asking who are you are not also asking yourself, who am I? So getting to know yourself right there.
Yes, self-assessment is one of the activities in self-awareness. It's like running an inventory in your mind to see, she's mentioned your strengths, weakness, what are your motivations, what are your habits, what are emotions. It's like taking yourself out on a date to get to know yourself much more. Date not really going to an eatery but just taking out time, being deliberate, being intentional to know what it is that you like, you do not like, what motivates you, what are your core values, some unwritten rules that condition you, things that, just sitting down and running an inventory to know who you are and whose you are, and those things that you can take per time. So is sitting down and actually doing like taking an inventory, taking stock. And by so doing, you're able to understand yourself better and you become a better person and better leaders. So it is very, very necessary. It is key towards development for anyone. Thank you very much.
Self-assessment is something an individual does intentionally and can apply to any area of life. You may want to self-assess a specific area of your life, probably your work. You can assess even with regards the assistance you need with respect to disability. So it can be applied to the entire person, or it can be applied to aspects of a person's life. So that's what I wanted to add. Thanks.
All right. Thank you for taking it a step further for us on that. Okay, so you can decide to assess your social life and see, oh, are you an outgoing person? Is this your outgoingness? Is it having a negative effect on you? You might decide to assess your work life. Oh, this job you are in, this career path, is this where you really want to be? Areas of our lives as women with disabilities, we can take it one at a time and look at it holistically. I love that as well. Thank you very much, Freki, for that one. So, why do we need to self-assess? We've all said it here that self-assessment is necessary. We've all said it here one way or the other that, oh, self-assessment, we cannot do without it because, if you want to move on to the future, you have to look at the past, you have to look at the present to be able to chart a way forward. So why is self-assessment important?
Thank you, Tomise. I want to say really that it's very, very important that we self-assess. It helps us live a genuine life. And besides being genuine, it is also, it helps us live from the place of fullness because you really cannot give what you do not have. So when you are aware, you are genuine, then you also, you are original. It helps you go back to your originality. And most importantly, apart from being genuine, you can also live from the place of fullness. And it helps you to actually lead better. Lead yourself, because the first person you should actually be leading is yourself before leading others. Thank you.
All right, so she gave three reasons there. Self-assessment, if done properly, one of the reasons why, if you have not been considering assessing yourself, you should do that right now, is the fact that it helps you live an original life, a genuine one. You are not living or walking in other people's shadows. You are walking in your own best shadow. And it also gives you, it makes you have the fullness of life, as she put it. And then she also mentioned that it helps you live better. So, like I said when I was painting the picture of a business, if you are making profit, you know, if you're at loss, you know, and you're able to take the next step.
Self-assessment, like we said earlier, and like Madam Uchebu said, it helps you, is about taking stock. So then there's a need for you to do so because it gives you direction. Self-assessment gives you direction so that you're not just, aimless. It gives you direction, helps you to maintain focus so that you know what works for you and what does not. Because when you can identify the things that work for you, you will be able to, avoid distractions. You'll be able to know that this and this and this that I've been doing so far does not serve me well. So I need to let go of this and focus on this particular thing. So it gives you direction, helps you maintain focus. And, it also helps you identify, live with, be your best self. When they say putting your best foot forward, because you have come to discover who you are, you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, you can then maximize your strength and then know the part of you that you should project most because you know it. And then it helps with your self-esteem. When you realize who you are, you realize the things you can do, the things you're good at, because that's what self-assessment helps you do. You recognize the things you're good at, your capabilities. It boosts your self-esteem. It helps you realize that I am more than I thought I was. I'm more capable than I thought I was. So it boosts your self-esteem. And so it's something that everybody should actually consider doing.
All right, thank you very much. So self-assessment helps you to live per time the best version of yourself, because when you self-assess, you see what makes you strong, you see your strengths, you see what motivates you, you would tend towards that, and then you would tend towards the best or a better version of yourself every time you self-assess per time. Also, self-assessment helps you to look forward to the future, because what it does is that it serves as a great motivator. You're able to have clarity, you're able to see how better to do a thing, and you're motivated to push forward. Thank you.
All right. So, Frankie, I wouldn't let you off just yet. Um, Now, we've talked about all these beautiful reasons for self-assessment. When do you think is appropriate for a woman with a disability to self-assess?
My perspective on life is that as much as every person is a social human being, our journeys are a bit individualistic. So it would be important for you to take on self-assessment every time you feel that you need to get centered. When you feel that you're a bit, I don't want to use the word scatterbrain, when you feel that you're a bit, your core is just everywhere, you're not self-centered, it may be a time for that self-assessment, to get your act together, to just reflect, to just sit back and say, okay, what's happening, what's not happening. So I cannot come here to say, oh, do it once a month or do it every month, because our journeys are very individualistic, even though we're social human beings. So watch yourself and see, and self-assess as much as you can in different areas. Don't want to take the whole chunk or say, no, I want to look at my life. Okay. And then you sit or go to the mountain, you may be overwhelmed. So you may want to just take it for time. And really, at the end of the day, if you self-access to self-destruct, that's not a good thing. At the end of the day, we want you to self-assess in order for you to be better. So as often as you would want to do it, you can, but make sure that it is deep, and make sure that it is with, should I say, actions. As you when you self-assess, you make commitments on what next. So that's my take on that. Thanks.
Mm. I love that fact that you say you do not self-assess to self-destruct. So it's for you to live better. It's for you to be, better, bigger than how you were a couple of weeks, a couple of days, a couple of years back. And Afyong, do you have a particular time you would advise women to self-assess?
Every day.
Mm,
Every day. It's an ongoing process every day.
mm,
It doesn't have to be something big like, it's like having a meeting with yourself. So as you're going through your day, a thought pops into your head. You stop and ask yourself, why am I thinking about this? Is it important to me? Is it necessary? Because it helps you to manage your emotions. It helps you to manage your expectations. So it's an ongoing process. I do it personally. I do it, as I go through my day, I realize that sometimes if you don't think about what you're thinking about, it's easy to get carried away. And then before you become overwhelmed. So as you're going through your day, maybe you find yourself, feeling stressed, or that like, and I see there's pressure. You could just take a 5-minute break and just like, okay, what's going on here? Am I doing too much? Do I need to stop? It doesn't have to be a big deal, but just make sure that, you are conscious of what goes on from time to time with you. Check in with yourself and like, what's happening? You feel a headache coming on. Am I hungry? Do I need to sleep? Just that self-assessment so that you understand your triggers. You understand, what gets you going. You feel excited. You're like, why am I so happy? What's going on? When you can identify those triggers, it helps you to be able to pace yourself, and you don't, push yourself more than you should, or you don't, take too much time out, so that you can manage your time better, and you can, also manage yourself better, and you become more productive and more, you have a more wholesome experience with yourself.
mm, mm. So, self-assessment should be an ongoing thing. It should be something you do every day. Okay, so I have an habit. I don't know if it is, something we would call self-assessment, but I wake up in the morning, regardless of the time my alarm sound. I want to take about 10 minutes to lie on my bed and probably think about what happened the previous day, think about what I'm going to be doing today, just a run through of what my activities the previous day or the day that I am presently is going to be. And trust me, if I get calls at that particular time, I feel very angry. Like someone has just taken me off something interesting. I feel very angry. I try not to pick such calls except if I find out that it could be an emergency. But trust me, I wouldn't pick those calls in the first 10 minutes of my waking up. So I guess I'm self-assessing myself. So I guess I'm going through self-assessment at that time of the day. But I'm sure, just what do you think? Am I going through
Well,
self-assessment?
yes, you are, of course. I call those times my mental massage moment. I
Mm,
actually have a time marked out from 4 a.m. I'm actually till 6:30 in the morning. So yours is 10 minutes. Then there's this 15-minute cap I just give. So you are self-assessing yourself. So I've heard what the ladies have said, and it's so interesting to note. For me, I want to add, aside the daily reflection, everyday ongoing process, Anthony Robbins says the constant and never-ending improvement. So if we must practice that as a principle, it requires us to self-assess every day. But there are moments like when one is traumatized, when one has just gone through life issues, life happenings. It's also a very good time to take out time to really self-assess and look at, yes, the triggers, and see how you respond. Like she had just said about listening. I mean, listening to what you are listening to, or thinking how you are thinking. What is your thinking pattern? And see how you have grown. Sometimes I catch myself doing some things and I'm like, oh, wow, babe, yeah, I remember some time ago somebody tries you on that. It's like, so is that time. So trauma too can be a good time. You've gone through life issues and you can't take these challenges, particularly for girls or women who had just become disabled. You find out that they could actually take out time and say, oh, okay, because there are people who will be probably listening to this, and this will become like a nugget tomorrow for them. So if life hits you at any time, because life actually will happen, it is also a good time to take out time to self-assess. All right, thank you.
We've talked about self-assessment as, something that we do, to improve, to move forward. But another thing is that people don't often do is when it comes to self-assessment is taking stock of, the wins, stopping to appreciate what you have actually achieved. It's easy to just say, oh, I need to do better. I need to do better. But you don't appreciate that you've already moved from one place to another. So it helps you to, you need to take stock of your wins too, and celebrate those little victories, what you've been able to achieve, what you've done today that was better than yesterday. So it's, that's part of what helps boost your self-esteem and, helps you, motivates you to move forward.
Okay, thank you very much, Afion, for that addition. I love what you and Madam Treasures just, pointed out. The fact that when life happens, when they say, may Nigeria not happen to you, some persons, Nigeria and life has happened to them. And, it might just be the time for you to take stock. It might just be the time for you to reflect and see how you can move forward. And Afion added that while you are looking to move forward, why not also celebrate your little wins? Little drops of water makes an ocean, they say. So your win today, your win tomorrow, your win the next tomorrow makes it all, a bigger win in a couple of days or in a couple of years. So celebrate yourself as much as you can. And I remember, when we're defining self-assessment at the beginning of the program, we talked about, it's a time for you to take yourself on a date. Maybe not to the restaurant, but maybe, treat yourself to some happy moments because you truly and honestly deserve it. So, how do we self assess in all of this? We've been talking about self assessment, the reason why we need to do it, the times we need to do it. How? How? What are those things that you think that you can suggest as tips to self assess?
So there are tips and tools. There are tools already existing. So if you, then no, there's no one size fits it all, and so you pick what works for you, as we'll share. So I'm a knack for tools that have been made available. The assessment tools online. Take for instance, there's the 16 personality test. So you get to know your personality type. Then there's this book called The 5 Love Languages. I usually say so that somebody knows. And of course, the e-copies are also available online for those that for the blind cluster. So you find out that like The 5 Love Languages is a good book to read. Then there's this popular book, Why You Act the Way You Do by Tim Lai. So that way, for the 5 love languages, I usually tell people that so that someone you know your own mumu button yourself. so so you could use books like that. And of course, we have the habit finder. So there are some resources online, assessment tools that have been created. So aside the assessment tool, you could also keep journals of yourself, and take time out, even if it's in the mountain, and practice a bit of mindfulness and just sit down and reflect, think through. Then I'm a knack for asking questions. You could actually ask people questions. So aside the tools, you have a timeout to practice mindfulness. Like you do your 10 minutes, I do my 15 minutes. We all have our moments in an hour. There are some who break at 12 noon and just stop and reflect. So you just have that time, but it's consistent, it's intentional, it's deliberate. And by so doing, you can take stock, take notes, and assess yourself. So use of assessment tool, use of journals, and that way you are good to go. I just add that, and and then the books, like I mentioned, helps you know, like Freke had mentioned, aspects of yourself. So these tools can be used to find aspects. Maybe you want to do like your career, there are assessment tools for that, to assess where you are now and project forward and even celebrate little wins. So that's that for me. Thank you.
All right. So here we have reading books, motivational books, inspirational books, going online to look for assessment tools, online questions that are being developed by experts who could help you. And she also said taking time out to practice mindfulness. I know these days people do a lot of yoga. So you can take time out to practice mindfulness. And so that way you are conscious of your acts, your actions, your inactions, and you can be able to self-assess.
Thank you very much. So just to keep adding on, and I'm so glad that it was mentioned the online tools, because I find a lot of people think that the only thing about online is social media, and that's just bad. There's a lot of resources out there, and we're saying that the tools are there for you to use. Even just to add, even tools that a person with disability can use to determine if the person needs to have a personal assistant or a primary caregiver or not, they are available for you. And that is the type of self-assessment. Because as a PWD, as a woman with disability, in your staging, you may get to a point in the process of independent living where you want to determine if you do not necessarily need an all-time primary caregiver, if you want it to be part-time or not at all. You can do a self-assessment for that to determine the level of care you need, if you need. So those tools are available. And one of the things that we'll try to do is you can comment and ask, and then we'll drop some of these links. In fact, I have some of them ebooks that they mentioned. You could write into our email right there, boldheartsnetwork.info@gmail.com. I'll be able to respond with links and with resources that you can use. That's by way of the tools. Okay, I just needed to slide that in there. So the other thing apart from the tool I can do, and I needed to mention that yes, within disability, you can determine your level of independence through self-assessment. I think another thing to understand in a self-assessment sometimes needs to be intentional, where you are not afraid of being with yourself. A lot of times people are afraid to be with their thoughts, they're afraid to be with themselves. And so they gather themselves with a lot of noise and activity. And they just keep going on, move till they burn out or they reach a mental breakdown. So don't be afraid to be with yourself and with what's happening in your head, so that you can determine whether something is going left or right, or it is at the center. So don't be afraid to be with yourself. And then finally, I would like to add that one of the strong ways, and Afyon had mentioned it earlier, is to celebrate your wins. You need to find them. You know, I was doing a training for some persons and I told them, write 5 strengths you have. I was amazed and shocked at how difficult it was, because they started with what is wrong with you and they had a long list of the things that were wrong. I said, okay, leave the long list. Write 5 things that you are so powerful at. As if they are looking for anybody in this world to do it, is you. People could not reach 5. I was like, you see, we self what's the word?
Self-judge.
Yeah,
Judging us.
with ourselves. Meanwhile, there's something you can do, and that includes you, dear lady with your disability, that you are so good at that nobody else could do. It is on this show that we brought a young lady who told me that she was a virtual assistant. I was hearing it for the first time. Simply meaning is like PA, but she can be your assistant anywhere you are in the world. You give her the jobs you don't want to do, she gets them done. And I was like, what a wow. She did not allow her wheelchair to stop her from coining that and figuring it out and saying, I am a virtual assistant. I think that we need to begin to look within. There's a lot of strength. God did not make people that are feeble. Don't look at things that people like to major on. The dissing. There's a lot of ability. So celebrate those abilities in you, dear lady with disabilities. So let me stop there. Fifi, add more.
Okay. So I love that part where you mentioned, being quick to crucify yourself, being quick to judge yourself, and just make yourself look bad or want to struggle more, want to fight harder, and all of that. How about those little things, minute things, no matter how small they are, it is your own win. So celebrating it, taking out time to reflect on it, taking out time. In fact, when you celebrate something small, you're seeing a bigger picture. because somehow whatever it is you're celebrating that is small, if you are, if you keep at it, you find out that it grows bigger and better by the day. So I love that part. And before I forget again, I was going to talk about the journal keeping that Madam Treasure talked about earlier, and I was saying for the benefit of our viewers who perhaps do not understand what a journal is, a diary. So keeping a diary of yourself that you can do. And I've always heard that blind persons don't keep diary. That's not true. I keep a diary and I'm blind. We have online diaries. You can download an e-diary. So, or if you are the type that you can write braille very well. In fact, as a blind person, I feel that if you can write braille, writing braille very well, keeping a diary or a journal will be best for you, because no one else can pick it up and understand except a fellow blind person. So keeping a journal, a diary is also another way by which you can self-assess. So Afyong, how do you advise a woman with a disability to self-assess?
Um, like Frankie, when Frankie mentioned, this discovering whether you need a caregiver or not. I recently found myself in that position, and I've been on a solo journey. All my life, everybody has always like, oh, the minute you stay like 5 minutes on your own, they're like, you're alone. You need to get someone. Are you sure you can even breathe by yourself? And the whole world is on your case, as in you can't do anything by yourself. But recently I was forced into that position, because if it were up to me, probably I wouldn't have, gotten there. But I had to discover that. And I now realize that I really don't need somebody waiting on me 24 hours a day. I discovered new ways of doing the things that I felt, oh, there's no other way. I have, been able to move on from there. And every day I keep acknowledging the little wins that I discover. I've begun to think critically about different ways of doing the same thing more efficiently. And, for self-assessment, it might just be something, thinking is something that can be alien to many people. Just thinking, just sitting down, letting your brain actually do some work. For some people, it's hard. Why not just go with the flow, do what everybody else is doing? But sitting down to actually stop and say, what can I do for myself? What is it that works best for me? It can be a problem for some people. So self-assessment is just, acquainting yourself with your mind. Allow your mind to work. You'll be amazed at the wonderful, great ideas that will come from there. Just, once in a while, ask yourself, maybe you've been using cup to pour water on your body in the bathroom. Ask yourself, is there no better way I can do this thing? Is there no other way I can do it that would, be better or easier or shorter? That's assessment. Just maybe your everyday task. Find out, is there a better way I can do it? You live in a place that is not exactly maybe friendly, disability friendly or accessible. Find out, is there something I can do about this situation? Evaluate everything about your life. It starts with your daily activities. I do that every day. And every day I find out new ways of doing things that makes it easier for me. It doesn't, and then, but the only reason why, like Madam Treasure said, you will need, there are some assessments that require you, that have to do with getting to know yourself, like we've been saying. Those online tests, they are free. You don't have to pay for them. You go online, just type in self-assessment test or self-evaluation test. You will see a whole lot of them. And most of them come with, after they've given you a score, they will now explain what the score means and what you can do to, get better. So go online, take some of those tests, answer the questions honestly, and it will tell you this is, who you are. And you'll be surprised that, wow, is this me? And then, if you need professional help, there are sometimes you do need a professional to help you navigate, to help you discover certain things. And that may be maybe when you're making a major transition in your life, you're relocating somewhere, you're changing jobs, or you just you're thinking of what to do next. Sometimes you may need a professional to help you. You can reach out find out there are coaches, there are people who can help you, see things that you may not actually be able to see on your own. They help you visualize and, realize, discover parts of you that you never thought was there. So, because sometimes, the experiences you've gone through can hinder you from seeing the positives. So sometimes you need someone, an external, evaluator, someone that can help you see things objectively, that is not clouded by your, self-limiting beliefs and thoughts. Just get someone else that will see what you do not see. So there are moments where you actually need someone that can help you see things objectively. So you can do it on your own. Just ask yourself, is there a better way I can do this? You find yourself doing things, you write something, you think a thought comes into your mind, you stop and like, wow, did I just come up with that? So take time. You will be amazed at what you discover about yourself. That journaling, it doesn't have to make sense to anybody. You're not writing a novel to publish. All the nonsense inside your head, all the good things, everything, just put it there. You'll be amazed that when you sit back and look at it, you'll be amazed at what you were able to come up with and what's going on inside your head. It helps you untangle all those thoughts that seem to be messing up your brain. Pour it out on paper, and then you'll be able to sort out what makes sense and what does not, and know what to discard and what to keep.
Okay, thank you very much, Afiok, for that one right there. Self-assessment requires you to be honest with yourself, be sincere, be open, and like Frecky said, that do not be afraid or shy or embarrassed to be by yourself. You don't have to put yourself in the middle of every and anything, because if you do not stand for something, you fall for everything. So I was talking about some of those things that the ladies have highlighted so far, on how you can conduct a self-assessment of yourself. Read books, write journal, keep a diary, put your thoughts together, be sincere with yourself. Honesty is the best policy. So if you're going to be lying to other people, do not for one bit lie to yourself, because you'll be doing yourself a whole lot of disservice if you lie to yourself. So tell yourself the truth and seek help when necessary, because sometimes some of us cannot navigate all of these emotions through at once. We need help at certain times. Do not be afraid to ask for help. As a woman with a disability, even a woman without disability, we all need help at one point or the other in our life. So rounding up the session, ladies, let's share our last words, our thoughts, as it concerns self-assessment for women with disabilities. What would be your advice in closing?
Okay, thank you very much. I once again deeply appreciate the honor to be here. So in closing, I would say, as you self-assess, let's also practice mindfulness. Not mindful, self-talk, because what you tell yourself afterwards, I hear pat yourself in the back, and I quickly did that and hugged myself, where you put your two hands on the opposite sides of the shoulder and really squeeze. Yes, I can see you actually doing that. You really squeeze, and just hug. You really feel the warmth and the heat, because they're actually the best friend of yourself. If you invest in self-assessment, the truth is you love the person you are becoming, such that people will have to queue up to get your get your attention, because like some people are really afraid of being alone. And apart from asking for help, you could actually do like a SWOT analysis, where you could ask questions, ask maybe very too close people, and be very quiet and listen to them. We know itself, you want to do it all by yourself, but sometimes reach out, because that actually changed a whole lot. Life actually happened to me, and in one of the courses I was taking, I was asked to go and do that exercise. In fact, I did it with 3 people instead of 2, and the answers at different locations, different parts of the world, and the answer actually came back the same. So I knew that there was a need for me, and that actually took me out of this country to go and practice the self-assessment, and come back a better person. I truly have become, and I'm still a better version, because the best person you become is who God has created you. You are your competition. You are nobody's competition. So you don't have any choice but to keep investing in yourself so that you become that better version that God keeps wanting you to become. More loving, more like him, and much more enriching our world, irrespective of whatever as disability cluster that you belong or whatever has happened to you, against all odds. So I want to say thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for sharing that with us.
I think everything has, or almost everything has been said. But what I would just say is that learn to enjoy your own company. Just learn to love being with you. That's one thing I enjoy. I can stay indoors. Doesn't mean you shouldn't hang out with people, but there are times you just need to be with yourself, because that's when you will have those conversations with yourself. There are things you can't tell anybody else, but you can tell yourself the truth. You can be open and honest with yourself, and just sort out whatever is going on in there, so that when you go out there, you are a better version. You go out there, you have something to offer, something of value to give. So learn to love being with you. Be your own, like Madam Trevor said, be your own best friend. I'm my own bestie. This is me.
All right, Frankie.
I celebrate all those who are their best friends. Okay, so my last word. Everybody has spoken amazingly. But I want to speak to the person who is afraid to self-assess because they are afraid of what they will find. If you do not do the needful with yourself, within yourself, somebody else will assess you. It will become an open assessment because you
A criticism.
It will become an open assessment if you do not do the needful with yourself. So don't be afraid of what you will say. But we're asking you to self-assess does not mean that you are 100% amazing. You may find that you are not a very good person. But then that gives you the opportunity to take stock and decide on being better. That's what we're talking about. Everybody here is not perfect. But in looking within, we are able to make decisions, clear decisions on how we can improve on, make our weaknesses, turn them to strengths as much as we can. Those we need to do away with, we begin to work on them slowly but surely. If you watch the program from Bold TV, the other day somebody was saying that some of our topics are not disability, and I'm like, that's because disability must be seen holistically. We're talking about your life, and this is lifestyle. So take everything we take seriously. Don't wait for the topic to have disability inside before you think it's age for me or something to have disability. Or for us to say self-assessment, disability, that's not what's happening here. Take your life that is worth being lived fully, in spite or irrespective of disability. That's what we're making it saying. So back to my point, if you are afraid to self-assess because you're afraid of what you will see, eventually to no longer be self-thing, it will become open for somebody else or series of persons to access you will not like what will happen. So take stock, do the needful, take the necessary step to be better. And don't beat yourself about when you are not your best form. Like Afro and everyone else, those mini they are very powerful. I tell somebody that every day is different. I don't know about their life. Every day is different. The thing I thought I figured out before, I found out, it's another style. Every day can be loaded with surprises if we just embrace it. All right, thank you.
Yeah, every day is different. So live every day like the day is not going to come again. I'll leave you with my own thoughts. You are who you tell the world you are. Celebrate your strength, work on your weaknesses, take opportunities, and assess threats. You'll definitely be the better version of yourself. And with that, we've come to the end of the program today. Bold TV brought to you by Bold Heart Initiative. We really do want to appreciate our ladies for being on the program today, as always. Thank you for doing what you do every other time. We especially thank our guest as well, who is appearing on the show for the very first time. Thank you for joining. And to you, our viewers, our lovers out there, we really appreciate you as well. Keep liking, keep commenting, keep sharing on Facebook, on YouTube. We would so much appreciate that. Both TV on both platforms. And if you would like to support for sponsorship, reach out to any of the co-hosts, Afiong, Abiose, Osaki, Freki, or myself, Uluwatomi Singh, and we will definitely get in touch with you and get you ways by which you can contribute and support Bold TV. Beautiful, outstanding ladies with disabilities. So we'll come your way again next week, Saturday, with another interesting, eye-opening session. We want to say that you keep being you, and God bless you. Bye-bye now.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming. It was fun
Bye.
having you.
Thank
Enjoyed
you.
having you.